Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to my YouTube channel, where nothing is easy, yet anything is possible. Let's get to know each other a bit. You can call me Auntie Eden. I've been married to the love of my life, Angus, for over 40 years. Our three girls and one boyo are all grown and out on their own. Now it's just Angus and myself knocking about the house, trying not to murder each other. And let me tell you, some days that's no so easy. If you are wondering why I'm on the YouTube, it is because I see a lot of hurting people out there in the world right now, and they are struggling something fierce with their relationships with others and with themselves. Now, I'm a sexy old gal that's been around the block a time or two, and my motto about life is this: learn it, live it, teach it. Now that I've rolled into my great auntie years to the wee ones in my family, I decided it's time to share the wisdom I've learned from all the masters I've known through my lifetime. Now let me share with you what we're going to be talking about over the next weeks and months in our time together. It all began with Adam and Eve. Adam came along first, and was getting lonely. So Eve, in her scanty little leaf coverings, came along to join him in the Garden of Eden. And there has been trouble ever since. Every human since the dawn of time has had two voices in their head fighting to take control. Let's call those the voices of good and evil. Angus tells me I've got about 17 voices in my head. How many voices have you got? As we go through our childhood, we have all kinds of influences that feed us both the good and the evil voices in our head. The folks who raise us, the teachers in our school, our friends, our relatives, and people in our community. Sometimes childhood is far less carefree and joyful than a parent hopes it is for us. We carry our childhood experiences on with us. Whether we go off to university or not, we eventually end up working in a job that we either hate or we love. The first jobs we have in adulthood provide us with our first set of complex confrontations with others. We come home complaining about our boss and how they don't understand us. We complain about our co-workers because we don't understand them. No one communicates well. Bosses play favorites, co-workers tattletale. The rules are strict for some and bendy for others. And we start to get a real glimpse of hypocrisy and dysfunction in the workplace, providing we were lucky enough to escape that in our childhood. Years ago, a man named Carl Jung dove deep into the human mind and realized there are a series of commonalities that exist, and the only difference between people is that to what degree each person holds a common trait. Isabel Myers and her mother, Catherine Briggs, went on to improve on the research of Carl Jung and created an easy-to-comprehend system of helping folks understand each other better. Now, I am an INFP, and Angus, he is an INTP. We do have our squabbles, but we do have some very similar traits in how we process information in our brains. Even though I'm the soft touch, my thinking process is very similar to his, and I understand my testy, stubborn husband better than anyone else, because in some ways we are very alike. It just shows differently to outsiders looking in. The more people you get to know, the more you realize everyone struggles with something. Maybe you were adopted, or one of your parents was an alcoholic, or you had a trusted family member do something inappropriate to you when you're a wee one. Or maybe your big sister called you fat and ugly, or your teacher told you that you weren't smart enough to go on to university or follow your dreams. No matter what happens when we're young, we carry our hurts forward with us, and those hurts affect how we show up in the world for ourselves and others. When we don't heal our hurts and correct our false self-stories about our value and our worth, we are sure to harm our relationships. What is that old saying that you hear sometimes? You cannot heal what you do not reveal. I stand by that. I wouldn't be the confident woman I am today if I hadn't shed the layers of hurt from my childhood. The more intimately we get to know someone, the more we start to see some extreme behaviors or odd behaviors show up in our relationships that we don't quite know what to do with. We start to realize that one of us might be super clean, one of us might be messy, one of us must get there quickly, and one of us wants to take the back roads and make a few stops along the way. One of us needs to plan every detail, and one of us needs to be spontaneous. Sometimes these differences are the result of unresolved trauma from our childhood. Sometimes they are the result of family pattern influence. Whatever the reason, we must learn to ask questions to understand our person better, and we need to learn to explain our own little oddities to our person so that we know how to support each other in more loving ways. Sometimes we have deeply rooted fears and attitudes that cannot be explained by our childhood upbringing. Dr. Gabor Mate and many other great researchers and doctors have discovered that ancestral trauma carries forward in our DNA. Angus, love of me life, is a third generation Canadian, but he holds the aggressive fighting spirit of the Vikings of Norway, where his roots lie. He has certain attitudes that show up contradictory to his childhood upbringing, and I blame it on the aggression in his ancestors' bloodline, I do. His poor mother had her hands full with him when he was little. As you can see, there are many factors that go into the making of a human's behavior, beliefs, and values. It's no wonder folks struggle to get along with one another. Not only do we have trauma and personality and cultural differences, but the fact that the brain of a man is made vastly different than that of a woman adds a whole new layer to complications in the getting along with people. Now, if you are willing to take courage and lean into knowing more about yourself or about your partner, I promise you, your connections will improve, your intimacy with your person will improve, and the flames of your purpose and desire will be well fanned after you spend some quality time with Auntie Eden. Drop us a comment below or send us a message if you're ready to find better ways to love and be loved. Until we meet again, I love you dearly. You're doing just fine.